entrepreneur, social activist, mother. These are just some of the words one could use to describe the young and vibrant Shaeen Gonsalves, who lives and breathes for the empowerment of women in Goa through the Girl Power initiative, which functions under the NGO Goa ForGiving, of which she is the chairperson. Hence, we caught up with her to discuss and gain insight into the various aspects of her life so as to inspire others of her generation to do the same.
My name is Shaeen Gonsalves, and I basically come from a baker's family. My dad runs a family-owned business, and my mother is a government worker. She works for the tourism department. And I am currently working with this NGO Goa ForGiving, which does a lot of work in community-based work. And we fight for the waters of Goa. We are currently working on the Kampal Creek issue. We fought the coconut tree issue. Then we are also into empowering women and girls into doing a lot of work and running their own businesses. So Girl Power is basically a concept that came about in around 2 years back, which actually was conceptualized by our founder Shaeen Gonsalves. So he was the one who actually came out with this idea of Girl Power, and Girl Power doesn't basically mean empowering just girls young girls. It also includes women who are married and who have children, who are who have talent but they don't really know what to do with it. The concept is basically to empower these women who want to do something but do not have an idea really what to do about. So we basically came out with this plan. First of all, we came out with a Facebook page wherein we started bringing out stories of various young girls and women who've done work in their own fields and who can be an inspiration to other girls as well. And later on, we also came up with this idea of bringing talented women out from their homes and coming out and training these women into doing something for themselves, basically self-empowering them into getting into businesses, into entrepreneurship. Also, we would like to get some help from the government into basically like schemes for women and make them aware of these schemes that are available. We also plan on starting a women's cooperative wherein we get all these talented women and get them together and help them to realize their talent. We have a lawyer called Jennifer Miranda who is directly into helping women. She does a lot. We have a young architect, Ria D'Souza. We have Tanya Shirodkar. She's a faculty at Don Bosco College. She also works with us. Ria is helping me into this shop that I just spoke about, the business that we are starting. So there are many women like this who are into occupation and they also would like to come forward. So our basic aim is to get all these women together and develop their skills as well. Proud to Be is another initiative that it's very close to my heart because coming from a baker's background, I know what it is for a girl especially to go through. People say that she's from a poder's family. I mean, poder is a derogatory word. So even if you call it a baker, it sounds nice. But when you say call someone a poder, it's like you call it in a derogatory way. So this is something that Proud to Be is a campaign that we are in the process of getting out, wherein we are urging men and women to come forward and be proud of your occupation. Like I started the hashtag Proud to Be Poder, where I'm very proud that I am that I come from a baker's family, but people don't really see it in that way. So this is something that from the Girl Power initiative is that's my personal contribution, wherein I would like to to inspire men and women to come out and be proud of their occupation. It could be any traditional occupation. You can be proud of being a padekar, proud of being a nusekan, anything. You shouldn't be, shy about your occupation. It's something that you really need to be proud of. So this is one personal and very close concept to my heart, that I would really reach out to everyone to be proud of your occupations. So one lady I would really like to talk about, and who was the main source of this inspiration, was Vasanti, who works at our home. She basically helps us in our day-to-day work, and she cooks. So when she started with working with us, she just came in as a cook, and she would just cook for us, and her food was really good. So, and one day we just went, visited her home just to know a little more about her, what was her background, and what is basically that she does. So when we visited her house, she basically took us around her home and she showed us what she was into, and it really inspired us because she grows her own. They have a field wherein they grow their own paddy. They have their own organic farming patch where they grow their vegetables. They don't buy any vegetables from outside. So that story was really inspiring, and we thought, why not inspire other women also by telling her story. And that's what exactly we did at one of our seminars when we organized the Point Guard Pond seminar 2 years back. We put her up on stage and we asked her to share her experience and what inspired her to get into all this. So yeah, that's one story that really, inspired us to take up this girl power. And like Vasanti, there are many other women also who have talent, but they are kind of lost, and they basically need someone to get to them and get them out of their homes and inspire them into doing things. So basically, we have a place in Fontainebleau, and we are soon going to be starting a business there. And the main idea is to give women this platform into, training them into getting into bakery, for example. I come from a baker's family, and I know how difficult it is to get laborers to work at your place. You really don't find laborers, and my dad really struggles to finding laborers to work. So we thought, why not, instead of depending on these laborers, why not get women out and train them into working, and they'll also enjoy it. I mean, it could be any occupation that they like. It could be tailoring, it could be anything that would also help them to earn their own living, not just sit and depend on their husband's income or something like that. It also gives them pride into what they do. Last year I traveled to Europe, and that was basically what inspired me into starting this. So I came across a lot of bread, a variety of bread which you don't really get in Goa, and that really struck this concept of why not. I mean, in Goa we have bakeries that just produce local breads like the pav and the poi and all that, but no one actually is getting into the variety of producing a variety of breads like the multi-grain breads and all that. So that was my idea and inspiration to take over my the bakery that we have and expand it basically into producing more of multi-grain breads and snacks and all those kind of things. So that was something that I would like to do in the future. And with this new shop that I'm starting, is also going to have a bakery unit wherein I'm going to be producing local bread, but it's going to have a twist wherein it's going to be served as snacks as well, with the local kafriel and shakuti and all those kind of things. So that's basically the idea for now. My family is very supportive. I mean, they would anytime, be more than happy to hand over the bakery to me. And also Arman has been a real inspiration. He's the one who actually pushed me into getting this thing done, and he's the one who's actually given me the charge of running this shop, the new shop that we're starting. So for me it was very, comfortable getting into this business because I had all the support. But talking of other girls, I think not everyone is as lucky as I am. Till today they do suffer and they do face this freedom of choice wherein they are limited to certain things. So the situation here compared to abroad, I would say, is very stark. It's different. So when we were in Europe, the kind of jobs also that women take up, they do any kind of job. Like they're waiters, they're bartenders, they're sweepers, anything, but they don't have this shame of doing something. So women over here, I think, should be inspired by such occupations and also take up these jobs here as well. But I think the support, the family and the people around should be supportive towards girls into helping them getting into what they love to do. The only obstacle, I think, is lack of support. I mean, if you have the backing and the support from people around you, I think that should automatically inspire you and give you the courage to go forward and do what you want to do. I think the qualities that you require, basically, you need to have the passion, first of all, to do what you're doing. So basically, when I started working with Goa ForGiving, I was just an employee and just doing my regular work. And today I am elevated to being the chairperson of Goa ForGiving. Sincerity would be one quality, I think. Reliability, I think he saw these qualities in me, and that's how I've been elevated to being the chairperson. And girl power, I mean, girls, I would really say that these are basic qualities that you require. So I've recently become a new mother, and so far motherhood has really been exciting. So my little boy Liam Matthias, he really keeps us on our toes, and he's the one who's dominating our lives right now. So it's for me, I'm a young mother, but still I think being a mother at such a young age, it's enjoyable, and it's I'm enjoying myself thoroughly. It's not that it's really hectic, but I'm also managing my work and enjoying motherhood at the same time. In those times, in the olden times, I think my mother and my grandmother, they had the support, and they had their own mothers who, they could go to any time they felt depressed or something. So they had their own mothers that they would run to when they would feel low. I know. I mean, it's really depressing. The first few days, at least, of motherhood. So I think the difference is that they had all the time in the world. They could just, if they felt depressed, they would just run to their parents. But today, I think my mother, for instance, is a working mother. So I don't have the same freedom to go and run to her whenever I feel like. So she's working, so I have to somehow get over it by myself. So I think that's one difference, that in olden days it was less depressing. Consider that they had their family around them. So now it's a little more difficult because you're on your own. I think managing everything by yourself is something that you really need to do. I know it's really difficult, but then the way I manage it is that I have a certain time for my child, and since it's just recent that I'm a mother and my child is very small, he gets up whenever he wants and he cries for milk. So so I need to rush. So in a way, I'm very lucky that my office is in my house. So for me, it works. My husband Armand also helps me in managing, because he most of the times when I have any work to be done, he's the one who looks after him. So even the massaging of the baby, we do it ourselves. So we take turns with that also. He'll do it. He'll massage the baby one day. I'll massage him the next day. So yeah, we somehow manage it between ourselves, and the work also. I don't really take too much of stress about the work right now. So the way I manage it is, I take what I can right now. Going by my example, I think my family background, my family is a very conservative family. So parents nowadays, at least in the olden days and still now, they don't really interact with their children as much as they should with issues that are around. So I think for me, I'll make it a point that I am in touch with my son or my daughter, and I'm regularly speaking with him and getting to know him and explaining issues that he should be knowing. Education starts from home. So basically, education that you don't get in school, basically it's interaction between your children that will make them aware of various issues in society. Like it could be anything like sexual harassment or any issue that, rapes or anything that mostly schools don't talk about. So I think when you're that much open with your children, it's that much more comfortable for them to talk about, and that they don't go into this world of something that they aren't aware about and they're so ignorant about. I think the barriers that women face is the freedom of choice. They don't get to do what they want to do, whether it's in education, whether what time you would like to come home. I think those are the most common barriers that women face, and men have all the freedom to choose, and they're given all the time in the world to go out and have their own time and marry at whatever age, whereas women are always pressurized into getting married at a young age. By the time they're 27, 28, they are like they are pressurized into you need to get married, you need to find someone. Professionally, I think women are not really encouraged to taking up their own putting up their own businesses. So I think those kind of barriers are something that men don't really face or go through. For me personally, I think Oprah Winfrey would be one of the women really commendable what she's gone through and how she's come out of it and how she's lived her life. Even though she's gone through so much in her childhood and while she grew up. And another one would be Malala Yousafzai, who's it's really commendable how she's fighting for girls' education, even though she's gone through what she's gone through, and the courage especially is what really inspires me. So I think the Me Too campaign that was going around last year was something that brought out stories that were genuine, but at the same time it also brought out false stories. I would say that it really put a lot of men also into trouble because some of the stories are not really true. So I think the Me Too campaign was a little controversial, but at the same time it really inspired other women also to get out their stories and come out of their shells and speak out loud about what they've gone through. So that was something really nice that happened last year, and I think for the coming year what I would want is basically more women to be self-empowered by basically giving them more education, and I think financial support as well would do wonders. When you have a particular dream but you do not have the means to achieve that dream. So one of the means is financial support. So I think that is something I would really want women to get. So basically, awareness is something that we as an NGO work on. We continuously organize seminars, or we have on-ground events that happen. So that is something that should really happen. Like, you know, we shouldn't be concentrating on just having one day as celebrating women, but women should be celebrated throughout the year by, you know, actually supporting her in any way that you can, in inspiring her to do things that she loves to do. Educational platforms will also work. So it's not about celebrating Women's Day just on one day. It's giving them an opportunity of voicing their opinions as well. We just talk about empowering women and we don't really do anything. So if you come out and do something for them, is something that would count. So I think just celebrating doesn't work. You need to, you know, actually get on ground and get to the root. Again, I'm not really, I mean, I support feminism, but I'm not really with the concept of, you know, that only anything and everything to do with women. In a way, to a limit, it's fine, but I believe more in the concept of men and women working together. It's more of, you know, equality than togetherness. I would really like, you know, say that men and women aren't equal, in the sense that there are a lot of things that men can do which a woman can't, and what women can do that a man can't. So you can't really call them equal. You can't say that a man and a woman are equal. Like, for instance, a man can't give birth to a child. Togetherness is something that really, you know, brings out a lot of achievement, and it would really make a woman's life really more happy and more prosperous if a woman and a man work together. So from our NGO, that is Goa for Giving, what we personally do is we organize seminars, we have televised debates. We're going to put up stories of various women who will basically speak of what they do professionally and you know, how they would like to inspire other women. Throughout the year, we come out with events like these training workshops for women, and we go out and put out stories like of Vasanti, and there are many other such women who we are currently working on getting out these stories from the grassroots, as you say. So these are the women who actually inspire others into doing things that would really, you know, get out their talent as well. I mean, every day we should have something that inspire women basically who would really want to come out and do something for themselves. We're going to be starting training sessions for women. We're going to be starting a women's cooperative, and we're going to be getting out all these talented women who are at home. And, you know, even Vasanti, she has a 24-year-old son, she has a 21-year-old daughter. They're on their own now. She doesn't need to look after them. So what else does she have to do? So she comes here and works. In the same way, we're also training her into getting back into bakery. I mean, not everyone would know, but she was the one who actually made the first pizzas of Goa. So she is directly into baking. So there are a lot of women like her who still they would want to do something more. So we from Goa for Giving would help in recognizing such women to come out and give them whatever training that they would like to get into. So we basically would like to help them to get out and give them all the support that we can. So we have lawyers who are on our team, we have architects, we have teachers, we have various business women also who are working with us. We have a very large group of women who are already working on this concept, and whatever support that women would require, we would really reach out to you all, and we would really want you all to come to us if you have any difficulties. Besides women issues, we also take up a lot of community issues. So we're looking out for volunteers. Since I have taken over for Giving now, I would like the organization to run by itself. So if you can support us financially, it would be great here and there. We have a lot of projects in the pipeline. If you visit our website, that's www.goaforgiving.org. So if you like our work, do join us, whether it could be by volunteering, by interning, by any support that you can. So you're welcome to do that.